Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Hope Sessions podcast, where every week we want to give you encouragement through different means such as testimonies, dialogues with guests, along with diving into the scriptures and exploring the incredible life-transforming truths inside it. So with all that being said, here's another episode for you to tune into and listen to. God bless. Enjoy the episode. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hope Sessions podcast with me, Jerry D. And we have two wonderful guests on the podcast today that you're listening into or you're watching on YouTube. And as a way to introduce these guests, I was actually thinking, right? I met these two people in church about 2 years ago. And one of the most significant moments of conversation I had with these both was I released an album number 10, in fact, in 2022. And it was an album called All Is Well. And I done an album launch where I invited my friends, family, and my church friends. And oftentimes when you invite people to come to parties or events, sometimes people just don't want to go because they just want to chill out at home. I get that. But these two people that you're about to listen to today came to the album launch. And I want you to know it really blessed me because I believe that was really what kickstarted our friendship. Every time I see Allan and his wonderful wife, Isabel, they both have a smile that would melt your heart. That when they speak, it's always encouraging. It's always uplifting. Sometimes I've had conversations with Allan in particular more recently. I remember I had a conversation with him downstairs in the missions cafe of our church. He was talking with me with Leandro and his wife, Nicole, and he talked to me about how he was so encouraged by just my ability to create the way I do. And because I've done this long enough, sometimes you forget about the impact you're having on people because you're so used to just doing stuff, recording, trusting God, working, serving in church. And it really blessed me. And that's the sort of person Allan is and his wife. When they encourage you, they don't just say, "Oh, you blessed me, brother." They're very specific with their encouragement. And that's one thing that I think you're going to discover tonight with these people. These are people who journey with God. They love Jesus first and foremost, but they also love one another. And it's very evident. I get to see it on a weekly basis, seeing how their love is played out in their lives, how they interact with their friends and family. But I want you both to know you're so welcome on the podcast, Allan and the wonderful Isabella. How are you both doing?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are actually delighted and happy to be here with you today. Gonna say something?
I'm very happy for you invited.
Yeah.
To try to do my best.
No, it's good. It's good. It'll be awesome. We're going to dive into a round that I have called rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you both some questions about your married partner. So I'm going to ask Allan questions about Isabella, and I'm going to ask Isabella questions about Allan. Are you ready?
Yeah, that's great.
Great. Will I start with Allan or Isabel first? Who wants to go first?
Me?
All right.
Okay.
Me.
Isabella, is Allan a morning or a night person?
Morning, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
What is Allan's favorite type of music?
Well, actually, he doesn't have just one because he listens everything.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have.
Well, yeah, not really. Like she's actually correct on that one because I don't know, maybe as a musician or something like that, it kind of affects me in the way that I appreciate a good music if it's actually kind of a well made,
Yeah.
just the instruments and everything is played very well and all of that. So I do appreciate good music regardless of what type of music it is.
That's awesome. Isabella, what is Allan's favorite meal?
Oh, definitely a big steak
Ah,
and chips.
love it. Wow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then to answer a question beside it, what is his worst worst type of food that he hates to have?
Chinese,
Yeah,
Chinese and fish.
and fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Um, does Allan have a favorite type of sport?
Maybe football, but not favor.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Probably the best anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, What is Alan's favorite movie?
Maybe action movie, maybe John Wick
Wow, yeah, one of the good
or The
ones.
Protector.
Yeah, it is.
Protector.
What's the name of that one with Denzel? I think there's Denzel Washington, something like that. I forgot
Denzel
the name of it.
Washington. Oh, um, did you say Protector?
Yeah, because for us in Portuguese it's
Yeah,
oculto, so maybe.
it's a bit different. I will remember the
Okay.
name of it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
but it is.
When you said John Wick's, I
John Wick,
smiled because I started watching those movies in December. Wow.
it is pretty
Yeah.
good.
The story is very interesting. To him as an actor, he is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
good.
That's true.
Um, let's see, one last question now. What is what no, do you know what? I'm gonna ask you a personal question.
All right, yeah.
What is your favorite memory with Alan? Was there a particular holiday or a trip, or what was your favorite memory with Alan so far?
Mm, Maybe our honeymoon.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Things hitting up, no, like warm me up.
No, no, because for us was our dream go
Yeah,
to Gramado,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
we didn't have enough
mm,
money,
sure.
and my cousin give us the present.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
gift. The present
Yeah,
and for us. Oh,
it's a beautiful city at the south of Brazil, so like it's brilliant. Like there's a whole lot of stuff in there that we are very kind of looking forward to see, and a few things like
Yeah,
museums for supercars and like kind of a vintage cars as well.
yeah.
And oh man, there's so many things
Yeah.
in there, like they're so good to see, and it was completely new. And the experience of being there with her, like just the two of us,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
trying to think.
it was the first travel
Yeah,
together, so
first travel together, first
yeah,
trip together. Yeah,
it's
sure.
impossible forget just
Yeah,
forget.
The first of
Yeah.
many trips, huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna move on to Alan. We're gonna
All
see
right.
how well you know your wife. Are you nervous?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because you should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Let's mix it up because you're probably thinking I'm gonna ask you the same questions, but I'm not. I'm gonna
All
I'm
right.
gonna mix it up and test your knowledge as the man of the house. Are you ready?
All right. Oh, let's try it. Yeah.
What is Isabella's favorite type of clothing brand to wear? Or sorry, what is her favorite clothes shop to shop in? Make it more simple.
Well, she's actually she's not very expensive in that way because she likes quantity instead of
Mm,
much.
Yeah.
She's not she's not really much into too expensive clothes, you know what I mean? So like
sure.
she would rather go to Dunn stores or something like that,
Mm,
For
and
pennies.
yeah, and then just buy a bunch of things that she can kind of put together in like different ways, and like try to different combinations and things like that. So
yeah.
If I see sale, I go.
yeah, if you kind of spot some sort of a good deal or something like that,
Yeah.
that's it. Like that's
That's
the place she's probably gonna go into.
you said something there, right? You said that quantity. That is a word that men don't use when it comes to
No,
clothes, right?
true.
My sister and my mom, the amount of clothes they have, they could open up their own shop.
Yeah,
I have enough clothes. I don't, if I have any more, I have too many. Men were very simple, couple of
exactly.
jumpers, couple of nice shirts,
Mhm.
t-shirts. That's it.
If we have more, like we're probably gonna end up being just more confused than
Yeah.
you know. We're trying to
Right.
be simple.
Let's see now. What is Isabella's favorite Disney movie?
Wow, tough one.
I think it's zip code, Jerry.
It's a difficult one. Um, I don't know. Is those what you call it, minions and stuff? Are they Disney, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Minions, yeah.
I think so.
You love it. Like you'd be singing like those nonsense lyrics that they sing on the on the thing. Like there's actually no,
No.
just like kind of a
Yeah, but I prefer Frozen a
yeah.
lot.
But you actually don't watch much of it though.
Yeah. I sing all the time. Let it go.
All right,
let
so
it-
yeah,
It's mad because that movie Frozen. So every movie has a soundtrack. You know, they usually have like 12 songs or something, 16 depending on the movie. But Frozen has its own soundtrack, but yet everyone only knows one song. Sorry, two songs. Let It Go and what's the one with the snowman? Do you want to build a snowman?
yeah,
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. No,
true.
the other songs no one cares about.
Exactly, exactly.
You know?
But she does she actually
Actually,
loves
I
the cartoons and stuff from them,
yeah,
like
yeah.
so I think if it kind of brings a small bit of comedy and romance and it's something like that, she
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's true.
What is Isabella's favorite Bible book or Bible verse?
I would say no. I would say probably Psalms.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She has the habit of doing a kind of a bit of devotional moment, every night pretty much. And then she like sometimes I get to the room and she's reading Psalms and a few things like that.
Hmm.
Because I think Psalms are they're very thoughtful and they bring you to think about things and kind of lift up the name of God and Jesus and stuff.
Yeah.
And that helps us to kind of empower even more our perspective towards God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's actually yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And
It's
the
true.
last question I'll ask, and I'll ask it because
Mhm.
you know I was kind of a bit difficult on you, and I love you. I do. I brought you on the podcast because you're a dear friend. So I'll let you off the hook. What is your favorite memory with Isabella so far?
All right. I would say the wedding was one of my favorite memories. Like I would say, like it is
Yeah.
a very remarkable moment in our life when you look at the person coming, at the beginning of the hall and stuff, and you look at it and you kind of everything kind of flows like a flash
Yeah.
in front of your eyes, and it is very. I think you kind of start to catch the idea of now we're a family, and
Mm,
this woman now decided to leave her life with me, and now we're gonna spend our life together,
yeah.
and
Oh.
it's yeah. It is massive. Like it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. That's true. I remember we were at a wedding recently, Nathan and Cassia's wedding. And one of my favorite part of every wedding is watching the groom, his
Yeah.
face when his bride is walking down the aisle. And when Nathan cried, I cried because I had this realization of my best friend is crying because he's about to marry his best friend and spend the rest of his life with her.
And you said something that is very, very good as well. Like you highlighted something there, which is he's about to marry his best friend.
Mm,
You see, so like before we even got to be married and before we even got to date and carry on with our relationship, we are friends first.
yeah,
Yeah,
So like
for a long
things
time.
things develop naturally from then on,
yeah.
from that point. So it's actually a very good point.
That's awesome. Do you know what? This is the Hope Sessions podcast, okay? And every guest that I have on has a story of hope. And to us as believers in Jesus, we believe that hope is a person and his name is Jesus, and how he came into our lives, how he found us where we were at, how he caused us to be born again by his saving grace. Um, and would you both share your testimony with us of what life was like growing up and how you found the Lord, how or more importantly, how the Lord found you? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Can
I
I
go
go
first?
first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not feel too much confident to think and speak English at the same time.
That's no
So
problem.
I wrote,
Good.
Yeah,
and it's
sure, girl.
okay if I read.
Of course it is. You work away,
Yeah.
whatever's easiest for you.
Okay. If I stop to think about my life, um, I can see that my birth
Yeah.
or my
Since you were born.
since my birth, it has been a testimony.
Mm,
But I will try some up, I promise.
yeah.
So my mom lost two babies before me.
Well,
Yeah, and she had a lot of problem when she lost the babies. And one doctor said to her that isn't was impossible. She get another baby.
Yeah.
And she did a lot of exams, and the same doctor said to her that she had a cyst, the cyst,
Yeah.
and she needed to remove. But God provide another doctor, and she did a lot of exam again, and the another the other doctor said to her that she was pregnant of me
Wow.
3 months.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago. And this is my first testimony.
Hmm.
And during my childhood, I went through difficult times,
Yeah.
but thank you, God, I managed to overcome.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a teenager, my parents and I didn't have a lot of money,
Hmm.
a lot of condition,
Sure.
but God provide everything else again, and I managed to finish my school and my
Yeah.
university. And our marriage
Yeah.
was God's provision
Yeah.
because we weren't going
Yeah.
have anything,
Hmm.
but in the end, the Lord blessed us with a beautiful part
Yeah.
that we couldn't even imagine. So in everything detail. So yeah. Lord. And once again, God made another of our dream come true,
Hmm.
which was to live outside another country. But it's important to say that when you come to here, I didn't understand and I didn't speak enough English. And when a person tried talk with me, I just said, "Oh yeah, yeah," or "I'm so sorry, I didn't speak English. I don't speak English."
Yeah.
But was fun because
Yeah.
I started the conversation, but I didn't finish.
And I had to jump in, like, to help her and stuff. And I was like, oh,
All the time in the streets, in the shopping.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
God.
and also just to point out, she was starting conversations with the random people
Oh
all of
yeah.
a sudden. So we walking down the street somewhere, I don't know, and then she started talking to someone I didn't even notice. Then I looked behind, and then she's talking to someone we don't even know, and then she doesn't know how to end up the like, continue the conversation. So I was
Because
like,
I
oh,
wanted talk,
Yeah.
try talk.
Sure.
that's good.
But why? And I say this because when I arrived here, I believe it that I was the last to get a job because uh, become me, Alan, and Pedro.
Yeah.
And Pedro and Alan spoke a lot English and
Sure.
me nothing. So I believe that I was the last to get a job. But Jesus want teach us so many things here, and I was forced to get a job,
Yeah.
and where I learned so many things, and I started talk more English. But I think almost 1 year, I felt that I need to improve more myself. I need to improve more my English, and I want to go back to my area.
Yeah.
And I started to pray about this. And I did my first interview in my area, but it was so frustrating for me because I couldn't speak all the questions. I couldn't understand the questions. And when I finished the interview, I started to cry and cry and cry a lot.
Hmm.
But I said to me, okay, I don't give up and I continue studying. And yeah, and I think after the 5 or 6 months, one friend of mine asked about my CV, where
Yeah.
she worked, and I did my second interview. And in my
Hmm.
second interview, I could talk a lot, I could answer everything. And when I finished my second interview,
Yeah.
I got a job.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, and now I work in my area, thank God,
Yeah.
in another place, but close to my home. So,
Wow.
and just to finish, when I see the whole Easter of my life so far, I can see God's care and provision, every detail.
Yeah.
And I have learned that when you give your life to Jesus, Um, He will lead and provide everything in your path.
Sure.
Um, no matter how much is impossible or difficult, He will provide in His time and on the way that He planned for you. And I asked why, but now I have the answer for this question. So, because we serve a God of the impossible,
Amen.
and who takes care of us, of you, of me.
Yeah.
And I learned that the least we can do is just love Him and serve Him with all our heart.
Yeah.
I think this is my testimony. So I tried some of it.
That's awesome. You know, Isabel, for someone who said she was nervous and doesn't speak a lot of English, your English is more clearer than mine. And I have been speaking English for 28 years, you know? You said something there and it really encouraged me because you were sharing testimony after testimony after testimony about the plan of God being revealed and released in your life. You know, how you didn't think that certain things would happen and you
Yeah,
English was to you, English was a barrier, but to him, it was going to be a doorway that he
yeah,
was going to bring you into that job. Like I even think of myself, I never planned to be a preacher, you know, have a podcast. And I wanted to be a boxing coach. I wanted to work with the Irish boxing team, go to the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah.
God called me to go to Bible college where I wasn't going to make money. It doesn't, it, in the human experience, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. That's
Mhm.
why it's called faith,
Yeah.
you know, and faith isn't like, I think
Definitely
of the
true.
story where Peter is in the boat, you know, and Jesus is asleep in the middle of a storm,
Yeah.
right? And Peter is freaking out because he's like you and me, he freaks out about everything, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jesus is just asleep. But yet, it's when he steps out of the boat that faith gets activated, that he
Mhm.
walks on water, trusting the one who has all power.
Yeah.
On the boat, he was comfortable. Nothing grows in
Yeah.
the comfort zone. And I love that you said that. And I'm encouraged to know that you stepped out in faith and trusted that as you stepped out to learn English, the Lord helped you.
Yeah. True.
Definitely.
Because I know I've spoken to you guys about the language, the English language in general, and there's so many terms, you know, past tense, present tense, future tense. But if you're like me, I was born in the UK, I was born in London. I don't do past, present, future tense. I just talk and
It's
people
natural.
can make sense of it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Like for me, you know, like number three and apple tree, you know?
Yeah.
Like to me, I don't say three and tree, I just say tree and tree. It's just easier because the th, the
Yeah.
tree,
Yeah.
the that. It's like
That's
no
true.
tree, 33. No. So be
Yeah.
encouraged. And as you continue to grow in your job, the Lord will increase your vocabulary. I
Amen.
understood everything you said. I'm serious.
No, thank
Be
you, God.
encouraged. Yeah, be
Oh,
encouraged.
but I forgot, in Brazil, before they come here,
Mm,
I was with depression, yeah, and
Yeah.
anxious. For me, was my,
I can kind of cover that as well.
yeah, my bad time for all my life.
sure.
And Jesus, I come to here with the medicine,
With the medicine, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
but thank God the last year I stopped it, and now I'm feel so much better. So
Oh, whoa. That
yeah,
is awesome. Isn't God so good?
Yeah,
yeah,
You know,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
sometimes he delivers us from things like that.
yeah,
Other times it's a journey.
Yeah.
And in that journey, it's not necessarily a journey of learning about your problem, but it's a journey of learning to trust that he knows what he's doing when we don't.
yeah,
And if you're like me, I'm not patient. I like to do everything now. When I text someone now, I want them to text me back straight away.
Yeah,
Don't, in 2 hours is too long. Tell me now, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing about faith. And I'm so encouraged to know that God has delivered you from that. Isn't he amazing?
that's very good
Yeah.
indeed.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah,
really
Yeah.
good.
I love it. Alan, would you share your testimony for us as well, my man?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Glad to do that, Don.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation again.
Hmm.
Um, well, basically, certainly our stories like they certainly converge some way, in a certain point. But I try to cover a few other things as well. But like I had the blessing to be born in a Christian family, so like my parents are the biggest reference for me in terms of Christian family and even a person as a character of as a Christian, and they taught me a lot about that, and I kind of grew up in that way.
Yeah.
So they raised me within the church, with the principles of God, and the Bible and the whole lot. Like, and since I was a kid, they raised us, myself and my brother, with Bible studies at home since we were kids, and literally showing us what we would be expected to be like as a Christian person, the
Yeah.
principles that we would have to seek to kind of develop that these things in our lives and things like that.
Hmm.
And then of course, like I had some hardships and all tough moments, and just like seasons, they come and go.
Yeah.
They some of them leave sometimes they leave some bit of trauma or something like that, and then but I suppose the saying is actually true as well, or whatever doesn't really kill us, so it kind of makes us stronger as well. So I believe God allows these things to happen as well for us to grow and to develop more few things
Yeah.
that we need to work on, you know. So basically, my childhood and my teenage years and all of these things were very good in terms of, well, I had some tough moments in childhood anyway, kind of struggled as more bit to have just as close friends that as I would like to have.
Sure.
But in my teenage years, it started to get better, and that's why I kind of I do love to give hugs. So I hug all the people, my friends. You probably know that already.
Yeah.
And then just because for me, you tend to appreciate more the things you have than like compared to the things that you knew or you already know what it is not to have, you know.
That's
So
right.
it's kind of like that. So like I do appreciate all my friends nowadays, and it kind of the trauma kind of brought this in me,
Yeah.
and then yeah, so I started to grow up and very and to get mature enough, let's say very early, because I was very like I was being a quiet person anyway, and very like trying to observe anything and everything around me. So even my parents, for example, now my parents they always worked as counselors or working with couples and
Yeah.
things like that in the church. So counseling couples and everything. So they used to take me sometimes to the meetings that they would go and look after the couple and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Even though I was a kid, I couldn't understand much of it. But eventually things started to click. And then I
Mm.
started to understand, hold on, what's now I kind of know why they talked about this and that. And then things they kind of highlighted to me afterwards, and in terms of what are the things we have to keep an eye out,
Yeah.
what is important. So I was very blessed in that way. Um, so we like certainly I was blessed to meet her as well. Like we both kind of grew up together, and then our families knew each other anyway before we even started dating and everything. We kind of became friends, and everything kind of carried on from that point. Um, but what I would like to share as well is the fact that when we decided to come in here, I was actually suggesting this to my brother because I was telling him like he's young and everything, and I wanted him to experience new things, and
Yeah.
because an exchange when you have experiences that they kind of get you out of your comfort zone, as you said, it kind of opens your mind for so many things that we didn't know.
Yeah.
So like I was suggesting to him, come on, man, look, I think it would be good for you to do maybe like an exchange and try to go somewhere and visit another country and see how it is,
Yeah.
speak a different language, and stuff like that. But then I always had the feeling and the desire inside of me of trying to leave abroad. My father always wanted to speak English. He actually does speak English a small bit, like, and he always
Yes.
he learned by himself, and so did I as well for a little while. But the thing is, when I suggested him, um I started to think
You
maybe
try. Yeah. You try.
it would be good to have
Convince
maybe to
me.
do both, all of us actually. Do you know what?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I started looking for the three of us,
But
and
you
we
pray a lot for
we prayed a lot for
change my
that
mind.
actually, because she didn't really know how it would be like, and
Yeah.
then she was a bit concerned about it, how we would, because we were pretty much settled at that time.
Yeah.
We had our house, like it was rented and anyway, but we said we both had jobs, and we just bought our car and a few things like that. So,
Yeah.
oh, what's the point now moving everything?
And did it in the same year that you try get a baby.
Yeah, we were planning to have a baby and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, I think if there is a time for us to step up in terms of um have an experience that will teach us so much, and have the time, let's say, if there's a time for us to experience something so new and different and improve ourselves as well, invest in ourselves is more a bit like as a
Yeah.
couple and professionally saying as well. So I believe that was a time, and thank God we did it. So we came in here, and even before we actually came, she fell off the stairs about a month before the flight. So she fell off the stairs
I hope my
Oh.
very
elbow.
like badly, and then we ended up in the hospital like crazily, because she managed to come back. We used to leave in um the second step area, and then I remember now she came back, and then she just literally passed out on top of the bed, and I was in fever as well because I just had COVID and I didn't know at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we were completely messed up in terms of health things and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I literally just adrenaline kicked in. We rushed to the hospital and everything else. And then the doctor said,
Oh, my body was swelling.
yeah, she was all everywhere, like swollen
My
everywhere.
elbow was open.
Doctor said she was lucky. Of course, we knew that was God, but
Yeah.
she was lucky she didn't get really paralyzed, because she hit every single part of her body and that felt falling off the stairs. So her back, small
Wow.
bit of the neck as well, all the movements and stuff. The elbow actually opened up, so I could actually see her bone in the elbow. And then I couldn't really tell her about it because she was like literally passing out. It's like, I can't really tell you now, but look, it's all good. We rushed to hospital. Adrenaline was too much, and then we rushed to hospital. Oh man, that was mental. And the doctor said, "Yo, look, you're lucky you didn't get paralyzed and everything else, but you won't be able to move your arm for a little while at least, because
Yeah.
you need to go do some physio or something like that." And I started
But
to
we
think,
didn't have money for physio.
yeah, and I started to think the flights are, we moving to Ireland in about
Yeah.
a couple of days, like literally, and we were selling everything that we had. We
Yeah.
sold literally everything. I sold my car, we sold our furniture, we sold things, everything that we had, and we decided, look, we go. There's no option B, so
Hmm.
like we just go, and then thank God he made a way, and
Yeah.
then eventually when we moved,
One
um,
day before.
one day before she started to move her arm.
Ah.
She didn't even need the physio.
No.
Not like literally, I don't know how to explain this now, because literally I might actually have videos and pictures and stuff. She couldn't really move her arm at all.
Yeah.
It was very bad, like it was very stuck, kind of a 45-degree.
Yeah.
So it was like that. And then yeah, so when he moved in here was another story as well. When he moved to another country, I think we never experienced something like that,
No.
in the sense of
And you,
we never had to rely on God so much than when he actually moved in here. Because in
Yeah.
Brazil, I think when we kind of feel that if anything happens, you still have your parents, you still have your family and friends, and
Yeah.
a few things that you can even though you might not really rely as much on them, but it's to know at the back, a little thing in the back of your head is to know, oh look, if anything happens, I still have a place. It's not
Exactly.
gonna be, in here was like, we don't know, we don't have anybody. We didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And then we literally had, look, God, it's you or nothing, because literally we don't have anything else.
Yeah.
So like my testimony would be I had literally I've never experienced something like that before. Our faith developed so much. We grew so much in terms of relationship with God in the time that we've been here. As she said, we thought because my English was a small bit better because I had to use English before in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then but it wasn't like this now. And then my brother also had English, very good English. And we thought, oh, we're going to be the first ones to get a job and everything, and we're going to be all right. It took me, I was
Wow.
like it took me twice as much time to get a job compared to them. So my wife was first, even though she had no English at all at that time.
Wow.
And then my brother was second. And in the house that we were living in, there was a workshop pretty much in the first couple of days when we moved in there, was ourselves and I think 5, 6 other people are over there. And there was a workshop in a hotel around it. I said, look, we all pop in there and we sign up and see how it goes, and hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, maybe God bless us with the job over there.
Hmm.
Everyone got hired pretty much. And
Wow.
then I was the only one that didn't really work for me for some reason.
Yeah.
I
So
think you got a job after the 1 month.
exactly. So it took me 2 months, really, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But then at the place that I got the job, it was a different hotel. It was the place that was so much blessed in there with good friends, with people that taught me so much in terms of Irish culture.
Yeah.
They helped me with my English. I actually had the opportunity to even bless others by, when you were with the character that we built, that we kind of that we have as Christians, we usually make good friends with, people that also have a good character.
That's right.
So, so like you can also manage to bless others. You become a tool in
Yeah.
God's hands.
That's right.
So like I was blessed to be able to bless others as well over there.
Yeah.
And then I literally I kind of understood why it took me longer. So God was preparing a few things for me over there, and that was just blessed in all of that. And then like just finishing my testimony, we've been through so much over here. We didn't know if we would be able to settle down. We needed a job and everything else, as you know.
Yeah.
We got to the point in which I was literally laying down the floor in my room and looking at the ceiling and saying to God, look, I don't have anything else. I don't have any sort of resource, whether that is financial, mental, anything else for me to carry this on, like to keep on going with this, because
Yeah.
literally I don't know what to do anymore. And then God had made a way again. And here we are, so like God has been doing things for us, through us. And like I can't really speak much, like it's just life with God, like literally experiences of faith,
Yeah.
Man.
I love it. My testimony is in some parts quite similar to yours, man. How you mentioned in school that you struggle to connect with friends and stuff. I was the same because I could tell if people were fake or not.
Yeah.
I don't have time for, hey. So you're like that all the time. Do you not have any bad days? Like, do you not wake up annoyed at someone? I
It's true.
struggle to
It's true.
like, how are you? God is good. I know he is, but how are you? So I get that, man,
Definitely.
and it's amazing to see how the Lord has used you from growing up, how in school you didn't really have a lot of friends. Maybe you're dealing with your own insecurities and
Yeah,
issues there.
exactly.
And then in hindsight now, you're one of the most relational people that I know. Every time you see someone, like, someone is listening to a conversation when they remember stuff
Yeah.
You know, like, so when you're talking to me, you will ask me specific questions. How are you getting on with spoken word, or how is your job going, or how's your relationship going? And instead of just, how are you? Oh, yeah, good. God bless you. Bye bye. You know,
True.
I like that, man. And you really listen when you talk to people, and that makes people really feel not just heard, but valued,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? Because a lot of the
exactly.
times, especially in Irish culture, when we talk to people, sometimes when someone is talking, you don't actually care what they have to say. You're just going, yeah, yeah. And then when they're finished, you get to talk,
Yeah,
you know? So it's learning, like, you've got two ears
true.
and one mouth for a reason.
Yeah,
Yes, sure.
Talk less, listen more,
exactly.
you know? But this is a podcast episode that I have entitled Before/After the Ring. And it's becoming like my motto or my life saying. I really am always blessed when I get to see people in love and not ashamed to say that they're in love. You know, and
Yeah.
I love that you both are not afraid to express your love to one another, obviously on social media, but even in person. You know, I really, you can tell that it's a God-given love that He has given for you both. You know, and no, I'm not trying to say I'm creepy that I'm watching everyone, and but naturally as humans we observe people, how they interact, how they respond, and
Yeah.
it's really nice to know that you both are just like so madly in love with each other, and that's why I wanted to have you both on. And the obvious question I want to ask is, you said you grew up with each other, right? You know, your both parents knew each other, but like, how did you fall in love? Who said I like you first? What was that initial at the start like? Like, because most of the time in Ireland, there's a thing called the friend zone,
Yeah.
you know, where women put you in that zone where you like her, but she doesn't like you. So she goes, yeah, you're just a brother, you know, and no one wants to be in the
Yeah,
bro zone.
exactly. That's
So,
true.
so how did you meet? What was the early stages of your love story like?
Should I tell or should I tell?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, as you have mentioned, um, we kind of grew up together. Like our families knew each other as well. Anyway,
But I
and then
didn't like you.
yeah, so she didn't like me at all at the beginning, all right?
Wow. Hey,
We had
God had
some
to work on her heart. Just remember that.
exactly,
He had to open her eyes, you know?
exactly. I can say maybe there were a few people trying to
When
influence
I
that,
when
anyway.
I no when I prayed for one husband, and when I have the answer about
Hmm.
Alan, I pray a lot. And I say, God, are you sure?
Yeah.
Just questioning God.
Yeah.
Look at that now. She's so bored. I was like, no, I
And
can't believe.
and I ask so many things for God, just for confirm in my
Yeah,
Hmm.
heart, because how can I say, que eu era tipo, duvidava muito.
she used to doubt a lot. Like,
Yeah, and I
Sure.
ask so many things for God, and I say, no, God, you need to confirm my heart, please, please.
how many
Hmm.
times? Like,
I ask so many things, and everything that I ask, I had the
yeah.
answer, and I say,
Wow.
oh, okay, God, okay, I go.
Yeah, that was good, all right. Like the moment that we kind of we
But oh wait, but I feel the promise with God that when He answered me, I didn't tell with you,
oh yeah, yeah.
until you come first, tell with me,
Wow.
because I
I
saw,
didn't like that, just to highlight
yeah,
that.
because I saw so many people in my church
Yeah.
there have relationship with
Yeah.
a lot of people,
Sure.
and I thought I don't want to be the same.
Yeah.
I want my first relationship there grow up for my marriage,
Yeah.
and God answered, but I wait the time. It's not, no, wasn't easy,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
that was good.
yeah.
And then eventually, like we both kind of had a few things that happened to us individually,
Hmm.
and then that thing actually brought us closer in terms of being friends.
Yeah.
So we started to talk more to each other and a few things like that. And then she started to develop, a bit more in terms of feelings, about me. And I didn't know that at the time, of course. And then just by like the way we were talking, I could notice, you can spot a few things like, this is a bit different now.
Yeah.
I don't think she would speak that way before, you know, like that's a bit different. And then it started like everything started to develop that way. But it was like I was happy. It was so natural as well at the same
Yeah.
time and so innocent. Well, we were both very young at the time anyway. Like I was 16, she was 14, you know, about 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And then like it is crazy now. Actually, more than that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was 2011 or something.
Yeah, 2011.
And then I know when we started to talk more, we decided to pray, you know, pray first because we didn't really want to be hurt anymore. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
really want to have bad experiences again.
And you
Sure.
asked
So we're
me
kind of
for
tired
free.
of that, like in both of us. Huh?
You asked me for free.
Yeah, so yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So we decided to
And this is
pray.
for my last answer for God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. And then we decided to pray, start praying, and we did it for a couple of months. And then I think after that, like we actually, her father called me, he invited me over, and then because he knew me since I was born, like he probably picked me up when I was a baby and
My
everything else.
father loves him more
So
than me.
he even knew
Wow.
that before we even started
Alan,
dating, you
come
know,
on.
he knew that. And then eventually, when he called me over, and I kind of, I kind of thought, look, I think that's a bit weird now. He's calling me there, like something happened, or
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we started talking, and then he actually asked me about our intentions in terms of going forward as, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, because he didn't really want her to start having a boyfriend at 14 years old,
Yeah.
you know. So he was like, oh look, I know you since you were a kid and you know everything else. I know your family and everything. So I'm happy to have you guys both dating and everything else. So I was like, I was surprised myself. Like, look, that's God's answer now.
Yeah.
That's it. Look, it's a blessing. And then like her family has been a family for me as well anyway, and they've been
Yeah.
blessing in my life. So it kind of grew that way. So we actually developed our friendship much more than it was before.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, and I think that's one of the main things we kind of have. I would probably would highlight in terms of relationship before you
Mm.
even get to date someone or you know just having go for like trying to engagement or even a marriage. Like you have to have a good friendship with the person that you know decided to spend your life with.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's
Man.
a few things happened.
And I want to ask you, so you've shared about how you've met, but you said something, and I didn't want to interrupt your flow of
Yeah, it's
what you
fine.
were
Yeah,
explaining. But when you approached the wonderful Isabella, who is now your wife, amen.
yeah, yeah.
When you approached her for the first time and had that conversation where you said, I love you, I like you, I'm interested in you, were you nervous?
Well,
You didn't
I'll be very honest with you now.
Okay.
And
I say first for
she
him.
said
I said,
first
yeah, first. I love you.
Ah,
because I I think I let things
Alan was
I let it
more,
happen,
no,
you know.
Alan was and is more quiet
Yeah,
and me more,
you're more intense.
yeah,
And
and
then like
and more
when I
boom.
actually approached her, it was an event that was happening at the church, you know, after a few things that happened, as I said, happened to us individually, different experiences anyway. And then I approached her and I just look, we might actually just grab an ice cream or something and we go walking and talking a small bit. But I didn't really had a feeling. Maybe I wasn't really sure or something. Like we just talking away, so it was kind of natural in terms of I was actually looking at her as a friend,
hmm,
so I didn't really. Maybe I thought, okay, look, this can go some you know grow a small bit more than I expect, but at that time I was fine, and then yeah, I think she developed her feelings first, and then she said to me first, and then I said,
Yeah, yeah. Because you asked for
yeah,
me
a little
first.
while.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, do you know what? You're a great person. You're a great friend of mine. And I know you know, your character.
yeah.
So we pray because let's see how things happened, you know,
Hmm,
how things will happen. And what God knows, you know, God knows everything. Maybe
yeah.
He has a plan for us. And I was actually happy to do that with the person that I actually found to be very good person in terms of, when you observe a person by the way she looks after her parents, the way she reacts to her friends, and a few things like that,
Yeah.
and the principles as well behind it. You know what? Look, we go for it. So it's very very good, to be honest.
That's awesome. So now we're at the stage where her father has spoken to you, and now you both have had that conversation where I like you, you like me, and you're praying together, and now you enter into a relationship. What was the journey like when you were dating? How long were you dating before you got engaged? What was that season like for you both?
Mm-hmm.
It was 5 years
5 years dating
relationship, date.
plus 1 year engagement.
Yeah.
And then after marriage.
Yeah.
So we've been 7 years now.
Yeah.
Of marriage, and then together. But I don't know, like since 2011, it's been already like
13
13 years.
13
Wow.
years.
That's
It's a lot.
that's a life.
I love how you both are so calm when it comes to remembering the dates, because usually if the man forgets the date, the woman's looking at him going,
Yeah,
no.
it's actually true. Yeah, that's true. Oh man, like I think it has been a great journey. Like we learned so much.
Yeah.
Grew up together.
Yeah, it was good. It is good to achieve things together, like build stuff together.
Yeah.
And to see how like how many things actually change from the time we actually started in terms of mindset, things we thought we knew, and now we think, oh look, you're actually right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What was the engagement story like? Did Isabella know you were going to propose to her? Was it a surprise? How did that happen?
No,
Could you share that story
surprise.
with us?
I said to him, I want surprise. I want surprise.
She loves surprise for some reason. I don't really like it,
Yeah.
because I like the fact that I know what to expect. I know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen somehow, and but she wanted a surprise. It's like, look, that's all right. So it wasn't her birthday, to be honest, and then
Wow.
I kind of set it up at the church, if something of the day, just a small event, only with close friends and family and a few things.
Yeah.
But we had everything. Like we had a cake and music and everything. I actually recorded a video. I don't know where it is now. I recorded a video.
I had the video.
Oh no, please don't. And then I recorded a video. I told her, look, we're gonna go shopping and something, just go for a spin or something. And then I just have to pop at the church, because I think I actually have to talk to someone over there, or deliver something. And then I brought her at the church, but it was hard. It was hard to hide it because there was a whole lot of cars parked in front of the church.
Yeah.
When in fact there was not even a service going on. So it's like
okay.
she could kind of spot a small bit, I would say, wasn't it? Like you
Yeah.
could.
I thought maybe a surprise about the birthday,
Yeah.
but not about the engaged.
Oh right, so
Yeah.
and
Because
then
I saw my auntie car,
all
and I
right,
say,
yeah,
my aunt is not in the same church.
yeah,
The
that's
Jew.
true. And then eventually, when we got in there, everybody was there already, so we just kind of give the massive "Hey!" and everybody started shouting, and then like someone took her inside because I actually said, look, I'm just gonna grab something there and I come back soon, and then get changed very quickly.
Yeah.
Get the flowers and stuff, and I popped in with the flowers and a few things, knee on the ground, got the proposal. And yeah, she started crying, but she didn't really want like to show it. So she was started to cover her face, crying and stuff. And the video kind of going on at the big screen as well.
Wow.
So it was very good. Like it's great to have everybody in there as well, friends and family. That was a great moment.
Yeah. How did that moment make you feel, Isabella? The engagement, was it something, because women think about their wedding day from the time they're little girls playing with Barbie dolls and little houses, So what was that day like when your boyfriend at the time, now husband Alan, proposed to you?
I thought I can't remember how I feel. How I feel.
How you felt?
How I felt. Maybe I thought, how can I call? Parece que eu, tipo assim, fui pensar nisso depois. Tipo,
you kind of started to think about it like afterwards, you're just full of feelings.
Yeah, because the same day I thought, oh my God, I can't believe. I think after the doing there's a lot. Think about the oh my God, I need to see no, I need prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to prepare this and this for wedding. No.
Yeah.
After that, I feel oh my God, I need to prepare more
Ah,
about the how how can I do a good wife?
How can I
Yeah.
be?
How can I be? Yeah, a
Okay.
good wife. How no, what Alan expect about me
mm,
and a lot of things. So it's a mix the feeling.
yeah.
It's a mix the feeling.
You see how different it is, because
It's difficult
how
to
like
explain the film.
yeah, because at that time I kind of feel like I was there, I was completely there, and just enjoying the moment. And you're already thinking of a wedding and stuff, and she was just man, she was just thinking ahead so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like that, and like she's always thinking ahead.
Good. Do you know? And so you've got engaged now, and now naturally your brain is now planning wedding, honeymoon,
Yeah.
learning how to be a good wife or how to be a good husband, asking people for advice, and
Yeah.
now the wedding day is here. What like do you want to maybe share what the wedding day was like? What was your favorite part of the wedding day? That kind of thing.
I think my favorite part is when I wake up and I see Alan every
Yeah.
day. No, you wake up first day.
That's the wedding day it's talking about.
The what? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, the day of the wedding. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, the day of the wedding. Do you want to talk first?
Well, I can if you wish. It's just but I can only talk by my own perspective. I know you're probably different.
Sure.
That's a lot of
Like for
responsibility.
me, yeah, was more. I was more thinking of things we had to kind of make sure they would be there, because as she mentioned in her testimony, we wouldn't really have much,
Yeah.
but ended up being a very like massive party. And that was just kind of a message for us of God is love.
Yeah.
In terms of, and even when you think of the verse in Matthew that says, even ye being evil know know how to give a good gift,
Yeah.
how much more shall God, be able to do like so.
Yeah.
Like that was massive for us. And I just felt like a whole lot of stuff going on in my mind, and trying to make sure everything would be, right and properly done, everything on time and screened. Thank God it happened that way. We also had a lot of help, of course, like friends and people that were working in there at that time.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to enjoy the moment with my family, friends,
Yeah.
and just trying to relax a small bit as well, and enjoy the last day in terms of the sun in the house, of my parents and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was
For
bit of
me,
like bit of like this.
I felt so much pressure
Yeah.
because it's too much responsibility.
Mm,
Responsibility,
Yeah, responsibility. So, but the most people that have that were with
Yeah.
me
Mhm.
talk a lot of things. And in my mind, oh my God, okay, I need to be a good wife. So I think for a woman is
Yeah.
more pressure. I don't know. For you the same, but I don't know.
I think you do have a small bit of I think you kind of put some pressure on yourself to be a good person, to be a good wife
Yeah,
anyway. Like I think in everything you do anyway, like you try to be a good teacher, you try to be a good everything. So like yeah, it's something that I kind of knew anyway.
that's awesome. Wow, man.
But can I talk about the favorite part after the wedding?
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
Is when I wake up and I see Alan,
Mm,
and my best part is when I go back to my job and he stay here and we talk about the days
yeah.
and when you go sleep go sleep together. So
Wow.
for me, it's my best part to
Yeah.
be
It's
together.
that comfort of your partner
Yeah.
to be able to comfort one another, especially if you have a difficult day at work where you want to kill one of your work colleagues because they annoy you, or
Yeah.
pressures or problems, difficulties, dream together, discuss problems. And that's what it is because, the scripture says that he who obtains he who gets a wife obtains favor or grace from the Lord, and you're a grace to one another, so that it's not Isabel's problem, it's your problem together to
Yeah.
become one, and I think that's the one thing that I was talking to my brother Danny about. And that's the one thing he says as well. He loves going out to work, but he loves coming home to
Yeah.
see his wife Aoife and Joshua. When he comes in the door, Joshua is running down the stairs, da 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 da. And Danny said he could be so tired from work, mentally you're just drained from being around people. And he said, but in that moment, he remembers the vows he made to his wife on his wedding day, and it's awesome to know that that's your favorite part, because that's something that everyone looks forward to as well,
Yeah.
and whether guys say it or not, sometimes guys can be very like, yeah, it's all right, but low key guys are loving that as well,
Yeah.
and I want to ask, sometimes growing up we believe certain things about stuff that sometimes it's not true, so maybe when you both were dating you had these ideas of marriage, of what other people told you marriage is like, and all
Mm.
this other stuff. But I want to ask you both, what is something that marriage has taught you that you didn't know when you were single? Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Certainly does.
For me, maybe more patient and hearing, listen more um, the other, and think more about other person, not just you.
Hmm.
So communicate more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I certainly agree with all that. And like, I would say it does kind of teach us a bit more of what love is actually about in terms of, regardless of the feeling,
Yeah.
you have to be able to provide for the well-being of the person next to you, so you have to be able to look after the person. It doesn't really matter how you're feeling that day, because it might be, stressed out. You might be something like after like a busy day of work or something,
Yeah.
and you have to go home and you still have to look after your wife, and vice versa and everything. And it kind of teaches you love is commitment,
Yeah.
so it's like, look, I know like anything could happen, but I'm happy that we're dealing with this together anyway. And then I might not be great today, but be better tomorrow, and vice versa again. So like it's a commitment that kind of teaches in terms of, as she said, be a bit more thoughtful of what we need to do to look after, like be a better husband to
Mm.
her, and herself as well, trying to be a better wife for me, and always kind of putting the other one, a bit higher than yourself, like the needs of the other person higher than yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it taught us a lot in terms of what it is commitment in that way, what is love about, and what do we so much, like how much energy and effort that we have to do to be able to keep up with this.
Yeah.
Because like we know that in the world that we live in right now, everything is just kind of influencing people to be a bit more kind of a selfish.
Yeah.
We always live in more and more for our own purposes and our own stuff, and nobody actually wants to live or serve anybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be served. So it's like kind of the opposite way now. And then yeah, it taught us a lot in that sense.
That's awesome. Do you know what? As you're both sharing, I feel prompted to say this, that you both complement each other so well.
Glad
You
to hear that.
you really do. You're both in sync. You really are. And I want to ask a question. So we have talked about dating, engagement, marriage. Um, But I want to ask, as a way to close out the podcast episode, I want to ask a question, maybe some advice from you both. Alan, if you could share from a male's perspective, and Isabel, if you would share from a female perspective, because yes, we're in Ireland, but I'm aware that this podcast is being listened to in Brazil, Switzerland, France, Germany. There's a lot of different countries that tune into this podcast, different cultures, which means people approach things differently. What advice would you give, though, people who are single? Because single seems to be like a dirty word. Like no one likes to admit they're single because it kind of feels like they don't have value, they don't have purpose. You know, only your purpose comes when you find a partner. No, your purpose comes when you know who you are in Jesus.
Exactly.
So I want to ask you both, could you both give some advice to the female listeners and the male listeners, if that's okay?
I think the first part in the beginning is pray, Lord, and maybe observe the person that you want to start the relationship. Because for me, the important part was when I observe Alan, how he treated his family, because
I interact as well.
Yeah, because if he's interact good with his family, he's interact with me the same. So, but I think the most important is pray and be prepared for listen God's voice. God's voice. Because sometimes we pray, but you want your answer, your decision.
Yes, what you desire.
Yeah. But you need to pray, but wait the God answer, not your answer. And it's important.
Sure. That's a good one.
It's awesome. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I think some stuff actually kind of travels as well. Like I suppose prayer is actually one of the most, if not the main thing for most. I would say, like, not only that, but try to develop yourself in the sense of getting to know yourself in God, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because you cannot start a relationship with someone and if you barely know who you actually are in God, and like trying to understand as more bit of your own life, and in the sense of what do you have as well to not only to offer much, but like in terms of character and the things that you have to work on that you are aware of.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose also we certainly had a lot of people contributing to our life in terms of counselors and things like that, even till today. But communication is key. Like I would say, like for us, it has been key since we've met, since we've been friends, since we actually met each other properly.
Yeah.
And then I suppose nowadays it's getting very tough to communicate to another person in the sense that
that's right.
Everything that you say, the other person can take as an offense.
Yeah.
Or regardless of your opinion, whatever you say now has the risk of to become an offense to someone else.
That's right.
And we are narrowing down or limiting our ability to exchange ideas and to say and to put out, look, this is who I am, or this is how I do it. And then if you give a bit more of a room for that in terms of why do you do that? So would you be maybe more interested in doing that way or that way? Would you think maybe this is the best way to do it?
Yeah.
Instead of taking everything as an offense or everything like kind of a sensible thing, just be able to like try to have a bit of open mind and be able to listen properly and be comprehensive. There are things that we forgetting about. So I think people have to be a bit more comprehensive towards the other one. They have to be able to listen, and regardless of the other person's opinion or something that they do or something like that, just be able to help instead of judge at a first. Don't kind of build up an image in your head and go away and because for you to build something with someone, it's a process. It's not like a couple of days talking, And then you gotta have the chance to say, look, this is how I am, this is my family, this is, how I do this and that.
Yeah.
And be able to have a different opinion from the other one. And that's it. Like you don't have to agree in everything at the first, because it certainly will change as the process goes, as time goes by.
Yeah.
So give yourself some time as well for this, trying to communicate, trying to be a bit more present,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that's probably one of the main things. Don't overcomplicate stuff,
Yeah.
trying to be simple in that sense.
Yeah.
And if the person doesn't really want anything, it's fine. Look, give yourself some time and keep working on yourself, improve everything that you can.
Yeah.
And eventually God knows everything. Like he knows the plans that he has for us.
Yeah.
Just keep talking to people, get to know as many people as you can in terms of friendship.
Sure.
But please, if I can, say something that is very important as well, try to avoid to have a relationship with too many people, because that's also
Yeah.
something that affects us too much, in the sense of that we get so much stuff, and whenever that finishes, it
Yeah.
hurts us. Everybody kind of walks away with, a scratch here and there.
That's right.
And then it becomes harder and harder for you to develop another relationship, because you already come with a background that is not good at all for the relationship that you already have.
Yeah.
And that was something that we had to work on in our relationship at the beginning.
Yeah.
We had our experiences, and this is now coming back from, someone else that wasn't really me. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
look, we have to start with things from scratch, both of us, and we have to work on stuff that we will have to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
But again, that's process.
Cool. There's two things that you both have said, and I wanna, I suppose, further elaborate briefly on them. And it's one thing you said, Alan, and before I met my wonderful partner, this is what I've done. I have dated myself. So, legit, like I'll
Yeah.
go to Mahon Point and I'll watch Marvel movies, I'll watch Disney movies, I'll watch comics, spend time with myself. And I actually got to learn a lot about myself in terms of how I deal with moments of anger, frustration, days where I wake up and I don't have motivation. I'm just like, I wake up and I'm annoyed, but I don't know why I'm annoyed. So you actually get to learn when you spend time with yourself the right way.
Yeah.
You get to learn about yourself. So that when you go into that relationship, then you can say to your partner, look, today I'm not really having a good day. So that she or he's not taking it personal when you feel a bit distant, or maybe you're not as expressive of your love towards that person, And then secondly, I love you said it, it's being intentional. Don't play games. That woman or that boy that is showing interest in you, just remember it takes a lot of encouragement for someone to put themselves out there. Obviously, they see something of value, or there's a character trait that they like about you, which is why they're expressing interest. And if you're not interested, it's okay to say no thanks. And please don't say the Christian saying, God told me you're going to be my wife.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. Don't get all spiritual with that language. Ask her out for coffee or him or ice cream, or go for a walk in the park, or it's only ice cream. It's only a cup of coffee. It's only lunch. It's not a marriage.
Yeah.
Like that's further down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And what I love, man, about is like just the natural side of it. Where for me, I gave up on relationships. Legit, fed up of putting myself out there and trying and getting shot down. And because guys, we're very forward thinkers. In our head, we're thinking we're at the first date, but mentally we're kind of thinking wedding day, engagement, life, kids, and when I gave up on relationships about 2 years ago, I was very hurt, very upset, a lot of pain. The Lord brought my partner into my life in a way I didn't expect him to.
Yeah.
I wasn't praying for a partner. I wasn't even praying to be single. I was just living life, really just walking with Jesus, that part of my life, I was like, okay, look, I'm just gonna trust him now with spoken word podcasting. And he just done it so seamlessly because he knew what he was doing all along, you know. And so for those people listening, shoot your shot. And I don't mean text every girl. Please don't. Please don't, because girls talk. Am I right, Isabel? Yeah, you're laughing because it's true. Girls talk.
Yeah.
And if you're texting a girl and then you're texting her friend as well, they're both talking about you in a negative sense, right?
Yeah.
And so, but let me say this about women then as well. If a guy shows interest in you, consider it. You don't have to say yeah, but consider it. Look at, as you said about character traits. Is there character traits there as a Christian man that you valued or something you see in him? And maybe explore it. It's only a date. It will last a couple of hours, depending on how long or how short you want to be it. And yeah, I don't feel like there's anything else to say except thank you both for, first and foremost, for coming on, because this podcast episode
Thanks for
wouldn't
that,
happen
yeah.
without you both. But more importantly, thank you for your friendship.
Thank you.
Every
Thank you.
time I see you both in church, you always encourage me. That conversation you had with me, Alan, it was
That goes both ways.
recently, last week, 2 weeks ago. You really blessed me, man. You know, and I'll never forget for as long as I live. You both came to my album launch when I hardly even knew you. And
Yeah.
thank you.
And your testimony over there, like, was great to hear as well, and that was
Yeah.
great to hear a bit more of you and your history and you know in your life, and then like your character, you could see it like so, you know, very well expressed in there. So it's you're blessed in your lives as well, man. I think I can tell you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. But for our listeners, I trust that this podcast episode was an encouragement, a tool of ministry from the Lord to you as his child. And if there is someone you're interested in, go ahead and strike up a conversation. I'll give you a tip. Hi, how are you? What's your name? That's it. And strike it from there, or compliment her or him about their clothes, or if they do something in church, maybe they sing or they preach or whatever, compliment them about something that bless you, and trust the Lord. Maybe the Lord might use a simple conversation to open the door for an impossible situation to become possible, you know. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share it with a friend, a family member, your pastor, colleague, whoever it may be. And just watch what the Lord might do through a simple act of sending the podcast to someone. Till next week, take care. God bless. Don't forget that hope is to life as oxygen is to the body. Take care. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hope Sessions podcast. Did you enjoy the episode? Maybe did it encourage you or motivate you? Do you think that someone in your life could benefit or be blessed by this episode? If so, then why not send it to them? Lastly, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you use. This massively helps to spread the podcast literally all across the world. And don't forget that hope is to life as oxygen is to the body. God bless you and have a wonderful week. Take care.